So clearly I woke up this morning and chose violence because we're talking about Gala Games again today. So I'm not going to say I told you so or anything because it's only been a day and I didn't even predict that the price would fall this much in a day, but here we are. Gala Coin is down about 12% right now. As of this recording. It seems like it reached almost 5 cents, which is insane. And basically what I was worried about ended up happening, but like sooner than even I had anticipated. This particular comment here is kind of exactly what I was fearing, is that people were getting ready to dump once the price had actually appreciated enough so they could exit. And look, even if you don't give a shit about some people buying the top and losing 12% the next day, I do. And I give a shit about you too. And this kind of comes on the tails of the news that the studio that they acquired was actually Ember Entertainment, who are currently working on the Walking Dead Empires game that is already under the Gala Games portfolio. And so they have about 15 different mobile games that are coming on to Gala Games now that they've been acquired. And it seems like the two biggest ones are these games called Meow Match and Dragon Strike, which are both Match 3 games. So if we take a look at their store page on Apple, we can see that Dragon Strike has 376 reviews, which usually you'll get reviews at about a 1% conversion rate. And so we can take that to mean that they have roughly 40,000 people playing this game total across its lifespan. That's not like current daily active users or anything remotely close to that. So the amount of people that are currently playing this game on a day-to-day basis is probably much lower than that. And since this game has a copyright of 2018, we can assume that it's been around for roughly 5 years. Now, Meow Match is a bit of a different story. It has several thousand reviews, so actually almost 9,000. So if we take that 1% conversion rating and multiply it by 9,000, you get about 900,000 people. We'll just say 1 million people have played this game just for the sake of easy math. But this game also has a copyright of 2018, and so that means that it could potentially be, this million users spread over a 5-year time span, and that means that their daily active users are probably much lower than that. I'm going to say 50,000 daily active users, which is generous. The Android numbers for Dragon Strike are actually much better with over 100,000 downloads, and Meow Match it's about the same at 1 million downloads. So we can tell that my estimates are roughly right for Apple, but it does seem like Dragon Strike is more popular on Android, which is a good thing because I want you to completely discount the Apple numbers for NFTs and getting these things onto the blockchain, because I have a video coming out very soon, so subscribe if you're interested, on how Apple is essentially destroying the NFT presence on the App Store, and I don't think that's going to change anytime soon, at least not for the next few years. Apple is going to hold on to that grip as long as possible and allow themselves time to develop a better solution for their customer base. And this is all my personal opinion. I mean, I could be wrong on that, but I would strongly recommend that we just write off Apple allowing NFTs on their platform, even if the EU law goes into place that they're kind of talking about in the Discord as the allowing of NFTs via third-party app stores. That's still going to be a long ways off of even affecting EU customers. So at least the next 3 to 5 years are going to be tough for iOS and NFTs. So that leaves us with about similar numbers on Android, roughly 10,000 daily active users on Dragon Strike and about 50 on Meow Match. So that's fairly sustainable for an economy as far as Meow Match goes. I have some concerns about Dragon Strike though. 10,000 people just doesn't really seem enough to support an NFT economy, but we'll have to see. So the way that they've described this as working is that they're going to have all of your cats for Meow Match as assets on the blockchain. For Dragon Strike, you only get 1 scroll of minting for playing the game, which means you get to mint 1 asset of your choice on their blockchain, which I think is kind of a weird choice, but I haven't played this game, so we'll have to spend some time with it and see what kind of assets that this game actually has. But if you spend $100, you get another scroll of minting. So I guess they're anticipating that there are some whales that have spent quite a bit of money in this game. They have all the data on that, of course, but these blockchain assets for these games are going to be going in the $100 range, which I think is ludicrous if there's only a handful of players playing this game. A couple thousand people playing your game every day is not really that many in the span of like supporting an economy, right? You need to have active participants in order to have liquidity. So I think that this news coming out about this particular studio is the one being acquired is kind of meeting everyone's expectations down a little bit. And that's why we're seeing this drop in price. Also, just because the rally was massive and it needed to cool off a bit. So I'm not saying that we're done from here. Like, it definitely could keep going for a little bit if there are some more tidbits that Gala drops that they've held in reserve. I mean, it honestly looks like they're really trying to pump the price. This guy commented here today that Gala is the coin for Mirandus, continuing to try and pump the price of Gala Coin even higher after this little dip. And honestly, that's just so, it just feels so slimy, man. I hate that they do this. Like, all they care about is trying to pump this coin on us, and then they say it's not an investment, right? So I don't like how they do this. And real quick, I want to show you guys some of the Gala assets that I own on one of my accounts, so that way you'd think that I'm not fudding your bags here and trying to just poo-poo on the whole project. I do really believe in Gala. I just don't think that this news is as big of a deal as people are making it out to be, and I definitely think that now that we know the studio and the games that they're working on, this is not really going to change the course for Gala very much, at least not until, you know, years down the line. So I keep most of my Gala coin in a cold wallet, so I just have a little bit fluctuating here for small purchases, but you can see the items that I have down here. I'm pretty heavy into Gala music as well as spider tanks and Superior. I used to have a lot more stuff for spider tanks and Townstar, but I've since kind of pared down my inventory a little bit due to reasons of these games not really being fun, and Townstar you can't even like play really anymore. You can play it for fun, but it's still the old engine and it doesn't really work as well as it should, and so it's just kind of disappointing to play, honestly. And the Walking Dead Empires was a game that I was pretty interested in, so I have this rare cookery that was given to me, and for those of you who are around for this, if you had a land plot for this game, they dropped some free cookeries based on your rarities. So this proves that I had a rare land plot for the Walking Dead Empires, and I eventually sold it because after playing the alpha, I wasn't particularly impressed with the gameplay, and it felt like it was going to be a couple years before it was actually like fully fleshed out and ready to go. So I chose to spend some of that money on taxes as well as reinvest a little bit of it back into spider tanks, which at the time it was about to come out and I was excited for. So those are some of the items that I own, and I also own a few nodes. I own 2 music nodes and 1 spider tanks node. I try to run those pretty often, but I don't use a VPS, especially because now, I mean, you're not even making enough money off the nodes to justify the VPS system right now. So I just run it on my local computer whenever I'm at home working, and that tends to work out okay for me. I also just have not invested anything in Mirandus really, because I don't think that that game is even close to like a polished release, and MMOs just tend to take a while. There's a lot of systems that have to come together in order for an MMO to exist, and they tend to take, 5 to 10 years of development time depending on the studio. So I think we've got a little bit of ways away from Mirandus yet still, even though we've seen some play tests. They haven't been particularly, flashy play tests. There's been a lot going on and a lot wrong in that still. So I think we're a few years out from Mirandus anyway. But yeah, I don't know where the price is going to go from here. I mean, again, it could still continue to rally, but if you were hurt by this, I'm sorry. I tried to warn you guys. Hopefully you were able to watch that video yesterday and make an exit strategy. But I know lots of people have been hurt just by Gala's practices in the past already, and I really hate to see that. And just know that, like, even if Gala goes bankrupt at some point, if things don't work out, then we'll be able to make it back and it'll be okay. All right, just keep going. Don't give up, and sorry if you're down bad. I'm down bad myself, so don't worry too much about it, all right? We'll make it through this. But if you missed yesterday's video, go ahead and check out the link on screen now. I go over this stuff in a little bit more detail and show why I don't think you should be chasing this rally, and you're probably likely to get hurt. So if you're still unconvinced, head over there and I'll see you. But that's it for today. Thanks. I'll catch you in the next one.